They think she is drawn to warmth, to softness, to the man who speaks gently and offers kindness like a gift. They are wrong. She does not trust the kind. She studies them. She measures the motive behind the smile, the tremble behind the compliment. Kindness is a tool, often too eagerly offered, and anything offered too freely holds little value. But the calm is different. The man who does not rush to speak, who does not bend to please, who holds silence like a weapon, he unsettles her. And in that very unrest, she finds security, not because he is good, but because he is unreadable. There is strength in stillness. I have seen it. I have used it. In courts, in councils, in chambers of whispered alliances, it is not the loud who command respect. It is the one who listens too long, who blinks too slowly, who lets others burn in the need to be seen. And she too senses this. She does not name it, but she trusts it. Because he does not chase her with words, she begins to follow his silence. Because he does not declare intention, she imagines it. And what is imagined is always more powerful than what is confessed. To appear calm is to appear in control, and control is the currency of all human interaction, far more enduring than love, or virtue, or even truth. The kind man wants to be received. The calm man needs nothing. One asks for entry. The other builds a gate others feel compelled to approach. She trusts the gatekeeper, not the guest. Men who wrap themselves in kindness do not understand this. They think their gentleness will win her. But gentleness without mystery becomes familiarity, and familiarity breeds not affection, but contempt. I have watched princes fall not because they were cruel, but because they were too generous, too available. They confused love with loyalty when they should have understood that power, true power, is always distant, always controlled, always slightly cold. When a man is calm, he is unprovable. He becomes a mirror, and in that mirror she sees the outline of stability, of depth, of restraint. He becomes a canvas for her projections, and thus he holds the upper hand without lifting a finger. This is not manipulation. This is reality. You may wear kindness like a badge, parade your emotions like a feast, but the one who reigns is the one who conceals. I have seen kings executed for their affections and traitors forgiven for their poise. The woman who walks away from warmth is not heartless, she is wise. She does not fear the one who feels too little. She fears the one who feels too much and lacks the strength to master it. Calm is not the absence of feeling. It is the triumph of order over emotion. It is command disguised as quiet. She does not trust the kind, she trusts the calm. And so should you. The calm commands credibility. Kindness invites suspicion. Let us speak plainly. In the eyes of the world, appearances govern reality, and perception becomes truth. A ruler may be cruel, yet if he appears just, he is praised. A lover may be indifferent, yet if he appears composed, he is trusted. And it is here, in this fragile boundary between perception and essence, that calm becomes a weapon more potent than any sword. The calm man is not trusted because he is virtuous, he is trusted because he is unreadable. And in a world where every man seeks to persuade, impress, or seduce, the one who does not reveal his desire becomes a riddle, and riddles command respect. He is like the still sea, vast, unbothered, perhaps dangerous. His very silence suggests that he sees more, knows more, needs less. The kind man, on the other hand, betrays himself. His need to be seen as good, his eagerness to comfort, to accommodate, to please, makes his intention transparent. And once a man's intention is known, it can be manipulated, questioned, or dismissed. She may smile at his kindness, but she does not feel protected by it. For if he is ruled by emotion, how then can he protect her from chaos, from hardship, from betrayal? Calm is not passivity, it is restraint. And restraint, when genuine, implies power. A man who can govern himself appears more capable of governing others. His silence is not emptiness, it is control. When he speaks little, others lean in. When he reacts slowly, others reveal themselves first. When he does not flatter, his rare approval becomes gold. And she, ever intuitive, senses that his calm is earned, not feigned. I have known many who wore kindness like a costume, thinking it would endear them. They failed, for kindness is expected, and what is expected is undervalued. But calm is unexpected. In a room of chatter, the one who remains still becomes the axis around which the others turn. It is not affection she seeks, it is stability. And calm suggests that he will not be easily moved by jealousy, by anger, by need. It whispers of emotional discipline, and that discipline assures her. For in the face of hardship or temptation, it is not kindness that endures, it is composure. Understand this: the calm man does not compete for her attention. That very refusal to compete creates intrigue. He does not sell his worth with compliments or gestures. He does not display affection like a merchant displays wares. Instead, he is silent, controlled, perhaps even distant. And this distance, if held rightly, does not push her away, it draws her in. Why? Because calmness allows the imagination to work. And what the imagination creates is always more seductive than what reality provides. The kind man lays everything bare. There is nothing to chase, no mystery to solve. But the calm man offers no map, no keys, no invitations. And the more he holds back, the more she advances. This is the art of influence, not through gifts or words, but through deliberate absence, through emotional economy. When others spend wildly, he saves. And what is scarce becomes valuable. You may argue that kindness is noble, and I do not disagree. But I am not concerned with what is noble, I am concerned with what works. And in the game of perception, it is not the kind who is believed, it is the calm. She trusts the man who is unshaken, not because he is safe, but because he is unshakable. To conceal one's true aim is not only wise, it is essential. A man who reveals his desires, his fears, and his doubts places his power in the hands of others. He becomes predictable. And what is predictable can be prepared for, controlled, or destroyed. The man who is emotionally neutral, who speaks without revealing, who listens without reacting. This man is the true strategist. His neutrality is not emptiness, it is cover. His silence is not ignorance, it is calculation. He wears serenity like armor and lets others bleed their intentions into the open. I have sat among kings and courtiers, in rooms thick with praise, betrayal, and smiles hiding swords. The one who remained unreadable always emerged untouched, not because he was more moral, but because he was less exposed. Emotion betrays. When a man becomes too angry, he shows where he is wounded. When he is too eager, he shows where he is weak. When he is too kind, he shows what he values most, and enemies learn what to take from him. She, too, sees this. She is not deceived by the trembling hand, the hurried affection, the loud laughter that masks insecurity. She may tolerate these displays, but she does not trust them. Trust in her mind is built not on how much a man shows, but on how much he withholds. The emotionally neutral man is enigmatic. She cannot read him, and in that uncertainty her instincts awaken. He becomes not a man, but a mirror, and what one sees in a mirror depends on their own longing. He allows her to imagine strength, loyalty, danger, or discipline, not by displaying it, but by not denying it. In emotional neutrality lies freedom, freedom to choose one's response, freedom to hold back when others lash out, freedom to appear harmless when in fact you are calculating every angle. This is how one survives in dangerous company, and this is how one seduces without ever reaching forward. The calm, unreadable man is not emotionally void. That is the mistake the foolish make. He is not cold. He is in control. He feels, but he does not reveal. He observes, but he does not expose. While others waste energy in reaction, he saves it for precision. She may smile at the man who weeps for her or praises her endlessly, but she steps back. He is too open, too disarmed. His strategy, if there is one, is laid bare. His emotions pull him like a leash. But the one who stands unaffected, who does not flinch at her silence, who does not swell at her touch. He is the one she returns to in thought. It is not affection she seeks, it is command, the ability to hold one's frame when the world presses in. Emotional neutrality is a form of dominance, soft dominance, but dominance nonetheless. You see, to control one's emotion is to own one's fate. The man who needs no validation cannot be humiliated. The man who is unmoved cannot be provoked, and the man who is unreadable cannot be defeated until it is too late. Even in war, the silent general terrifies more than the angry one. In court, the man who does not defend himself commands more curiosity than the one who protests too much. And in love, the one who maintains poise becomes the center of gravity in the room. This is not cruelty. This is survival. This is power. The wise man knows to remain emotionally neutral is not to feel less, but to show less. She does not trust the man who bleeds emotion, because she knows others can make him bleed again. She trusts the one who bleeds in private, but in public stands untouched, still, composed. For he is not controlled by what he feels. He controls others by what he does not reveal. Let us dispose of illusions early. The world does not reward goodness, it rewards usefulness. Virtue, when paraded, is a performance. And every performance has an audience, an intention, and a flaw. The kind man, draped in virtues and eager to be seen as pure, is no less manipulative than the cunning. He simply wears a different costume. But the true strategist, he wears nothing, or rather, he wears nothing you can interpret. He hides not behind goodness or grand declarations, but behind absence, behind stillness, behind silence. And in doing so, he becomes ungraspable. Others try to define him, and in that effort, they expose themselves. The deceiver smiles too much. He praises with excess. He offers help before it is needed. All of this is currency. He buys favor cheaply and hopes to secure loyalty before judgment can form. But in truth, his need to be liked is his undoing, because the one who is desperate to be seen as good is, inevitably, suspected of wanting something in return. She notices this. She may not say it, but she senses it. Virtue that comes loudly feels rehearsed. A man who declares his integrity in every word creates doubt. Why must he prove so much? Why must he explain? The very act of explaining one's goodness is already an act of weakness. Goodness, when real, requires no defense. The strategist knows this. He does not advertise his decency, because he understands that power does not reside in being liked. It resides in being respected. And respect is earned not through words, but through presence, through the way one withholds, through the way one listens, nods, and says nothing when others scramble to speak. She does not trust the man who convinces. She trusts the man who allows her to conclude. The deceiver wants you to believe something specific. He is always steering the impression, always crafting a narrative, but the strategist offers nothing. His blank expression becomes a canvas for others' imagination. He is neither cruel nor kind. He simply is, and that is what makes him dangerous and desirable, because behind silence anything could exist: strength, wisdom, pain, ruthlessness, compassion. But none of it is confirmed. She cannot label him, and that very uncertainty builds interest. It builds trust, not because he has shown himself trustworthy, but because he has shown himself measured. In a world of constant noise, restraint becomes rare, and what is rare becomes valuable. Do not misunderstand me. This silence is not passivity, it is precision. The strategist speaks when it benefits him, and is silent when it benefits him more. He is not above deception, he simply practices a higher form of it. Where the deceiver creates illusions through words, the strategist creates them through space, through what is withheld. Even when accused, he does not defend. Even when praised, he does not gloat. He remains exactly what he was before, centered, still, unyielding. And that consistency becomes a fortress. She will choose this man, not because he has promised her anything, but because he has promised her nothing. And in that nothingness, she finds something more stable than affection, discipline. The kind man wants to be loved. The deceiver wants to be believed. But the strategist, he wants only to win, and if he can do so without a single unnecessary word, even better. Let the others declare their goodness. Let them beg to be trusted. He will remain quiet and become the most trusted man in the room. A man who rules through compassion may win hearts, but he will not hold them. A man who rules through composure, however, holds not just hearts, but minds, territory, and time. Compassion may impress the weak, but composure commands the strong. I have walked the halls of power, where mercy is praised and then punished, where kindness is repaid with betrayal. I have watched men fall because they mistook gentleness for strength, believing that love alone would shield them from ambition, envy, and treachery. They died noble and forgotten. Composure, on the other hand, survives. Power is not loud. It does not beg to be recognized. It does not decorate itself in smiles or sentiments. It stands still while others shift. It observes while others react. It does not reach. It waits. A composed man, whether in palace or street, is a fortress. His stillness repels chaos. His eyes, unshaken, make the room feel smaller. People fall silent not because he demands it, but because he does not need to. She sees this. She feels it. The one who meets her with softness, always ready to reassure, to adjust, to seek approval. He does not spark trust. He sparks caution. Because if he is so easily moved by her presence, how will he withstand the world? But the composed man, the one who greets her without flinch, who neither leans forward nor away, he is an anchor. In him, she does not feel worshipped, she feels safe, not because he promises protection, but because he exudes containment. And containment is the most valuable form of power in a world addicted to expression. Compassion, when ungoverned, leads to inconsistency. One day, the kind man forgives, the next he resents the cost of his own generosity. He feels too much, gives too freely, and breaks when his offerings are not returned. His identity depends on being liked, and once that dependence is noticed, it becomes his weakness. The composed man depends on nothing. He does not seek approval. He is not here to be liked. He is here to endure. His actions are not emotional. They are strategic. He does not give unless there is strength in giving. He does not respond unless silence would cost him more. He remains calm when insulted, still when admired, and absent when the stage is crowded. It is this restraint that makes him credible. It is not that he does not feel. It is that he governs what he feels. And governance of the self is the first qualification for governance of anything else: a kingdom, a company, or a woman's loyalty. Even beasts of power recognize this. In the wild, the lion does not roar at every step. It walks slowly, quietly, knowing that its presence alone changes the air. The one who must declare himself king has already lost the throne. So too in the court of hearts, the composed man need not declare his value. It is assumed, because in his silence others see strength. In his control others sense order. And where there is order, there is trust. She trusts not because he is warm, but because he is stable. Not because he flatters, but because he remains. She knows he will not crumble when tested. He will not shift when questioned. He may not offer affection, but he offers certainty, and certainty, in the long game, outweighs passion. Remember, this: compassion pleases, but composure prevails. In every interaction, whether between rulers or lovers, someone sets the frame, and the one who holds the frame holds the power. The frame is not merely the context of a conversation or the direction of dialogue. It is the invisible boundary that defines what is acceptable, what is true, what is valuable, and most never realize they are playing inside a frame someone else has built. The calm man builds that frame. He does not enter conversations chasing approval. He does not explain himself. He does not react to emotion with more emotion. Instead, he sets the pace. When others speak quickly, he pauses. When others get loud, he lowers his voice. When others reveal themselves, he remains unreadable. And in doing so, he quietly repositions himself, not as a participant in the game, but as its arbiter. Power does not always roar. It often whispers, or says nothing at all. A man who reacts, who justifies, who seeks to persuade is already beneath the one who does not. When she sees that he does not chase her validation, does not shift to match her rhythm, she is forced to match his. Her tone softens. Her words slow. Her guard begins to fall, not because he demanded it, but because he did nothing. This is how power works. By doing less, you make others do more. The man who holds the frame allows others to project, to reach, to adjust. And the more they adjust around him, the more authority he gains without ever asking for it. Even disagreement becomes submission when framed properly. If he speaks with composure while others grow emotional, he appears wise. If he holds silence when others seek answers, he appears deep. And if he remains calm in chaos, he becomes the anchor others gravitate toward. She feels this. Whether in argument or silence, his refusal to break frame creates the sense that he knows more, that he sees further, that he cannot be shaken. He becomes not just a man, but a force. Contrast this with the kind man who bends quickly, who tries to accommodate every shift, every feeling, every cue. He breaks his own frame to maintain harmony. But once the frame breaks, so does his authority. He may win a moment's affection, but he loses command of the game. Frame is not about domination. It is about gravity. When you hold it, others orbit you. When you lose it, you orbit them. She does not consciously articulate this, but she feels it. She trusts the calm not because he asserts himself, but because he doesn't need to. His stillness defines the space around him. His restraint becomes the rules. And in a world where everyone is shouting to be seen, the man who remains still becomes the one everyone sees. She never said it aloud. She never needed to. Her choices revealed what her words concealed. She was never searching for the man who loved the loudest, who gave the most, or who appeared the kindest. She sought the one who moved least, and moved everything around him. You see, in the theater of life, men act and overact, desperate to be seen, understood, embraced. But the calm man does not act. He allows others to perform while he observes from the edge of the stage. He holds the silence that others fear. And in that silence, he becomes the most powerful presence in the room. It is not virtue she trusts. It is restraint, not sentiment, but discipline. Not the offering of peace, but the ability to command it without raising his voice. Where others offer their hearts as bargaining chips, he keeps his close and unreadable. Where others plead for loyalty, he invites it through absence. He is not the loudest, but the last to speak, not the warmest, but the one who is still standing when the storm passes. She follows calm because calm is structure and structure survives. In chaos, she needs not kindness, she needs certainty, and only the man who rules himself can be trusted to rule anything else. So remember this, the world bends not for those who declare their worth, but for those who demand nothing yet define everything. Be kind if you must, but above all, be calm, and they will trust you for reasons they can never explain.